Happy Wednesday, it's Oberon Solo Slime Rancher, and we are talking BESM all over the place. So last time I kind of illustrated some of the examples of where the system breaks down. I don't want to give the wrong idea, though. I fucking love BESM, and I just dropped an F-bomb in the first minute of my recording. That's gonna go great. But I love BESM. I love it because it is so simple. Like, I ran it twice, and I basically had the book memorized and could start building on the fly. It is a very powerful system. It just needs some tweaking to get there. There we go. Feed my happy little phosphor slimes. So you can kind of, when you look at it, the big problems were the stats, and I already kind of suggested one suggestion, which is, you know, instead of going roll under this sum of numbers, it's add these numbers to your roll and set a toughness, which, I mean, I instituted almost immediately after my first game playing, just because it's so much better. Alright. Yeah, I need that, I need that, I need that. Great. Jetpack, woo! Alright. Now I can suck up water and cool down, need some more phosphor slimes because I gave them up. There we go. So, I've done a lot of different things to the stat system in BESM to make it work. I mean, in general, it's just, you know, a basic, you have 3 stats, body, mind, soul. They kind of cover most of the bases of anything you might want to do. It's not hard to figure out which one you're gonna roll, except in social situations. Because sometimes it's mind, sometimes it's soul, but, I mean, if you get past that, it's kind of natural and easy to figure out where to go. The problem is that once you get past 10, it doesn't, like, nothing matters. As described in the game book, like, 10 is best in planet, 11 is best in galaxy, and 12 is best in universe for that stat. That, I had to throw that out immediately. That's just absurd. Like, I'm never going to put those numbers down, because there is always a chance of somebody being better than you somewhere. And if you do encounter someone that's better than you, do you lose points in that stat? Yeah. It's just a bad example. So, cut that out immediately. Now, the other issue with, like, hit points and energy points was you never really used energy points. Either you had the try-hard system on, which allows you to burn energy points to get an extra, you know, +1 on your roll to on something you're trying really hard for, or you didn't, and you never used it except if you were a spellcaster. I mean, I've attacked it before. I have definitely knocked people out by draining them of energy. But it was an edge case at most, and it was one of the primary derived statistics next to hit points. So you need to find some ways to use energy. And hit points, their big problem was armor. Attacking energy actually got around armor, which was cool, but their big problem was armor being scaling flat. Everything scales flat, nobody cares. There is no wearing someone down. It just doesn't exist. Either you're gibbing them or not. they had one other statistic in the main derived stats, and that was shock value, which was also rarely used but had a lot of potential. The idea behind shock value is if you wanted to play a hardcore game, then that was the amount of hit points you could take in one attack. If you took that amount or more in one attack, you'd make a body save or be knocked out. It was, I believe, just the sum of your body and mind was your shock value, and hit points were body plus soul times 5, and energy points were mind plus soul times 5. Whoa, those aren't florts. Oh man, I got it all goopy. Oh good, it cleaned itself off. So, you know, that's the basics there are easy to remember, easy to figure out. Your mind and your soul go into your energy, your body and your soul go into your health. Great. But it became a problem when none of those values ever moved until somebody just gets whacked. So, I introduced a few transformations to this. Probably my most successful was to keep shock value and transform hit points into toughness and transform energy into willpower. Now, they're calculated exactly the same, but what I had to do, what I had my players do when, you know, it's an energy or willpower question. Oh my god. Give me this chicken, thank you. When it came down to energy or willpower instead of hit points or toughness is, you don't, instead of just looking at it, taking damage, reducing the value, is they are a percentage chance value. You take your opponent's damage, subtract it from your toughness, and then roll under it on a D percentile. Ooh, nice. Gold plort. So the idea became, you know, try and get your toughness as close to 100 as possible, which is a significant investment. And you only roll toughness when there's a damage incident. Great. If you fail your toughness roll, you take a wound. Usually a physical, although, depending, because soul is part of it, it could be a wound to your soul instead. And you can take as many wounds as the stat that is being wounded. So, it gave you a different feel. Suddenly, really what you're tracking is your body and how many wounds you have taken. And toughness was just, you know, a percentage value. Great. Didn't really fix the problem until I looped in shock value. Shock value no longer became a thing where you can cast out. What I had shock value do in this case was be the variance. If you're within your shock value, either higher or lower when you fail the roll, instead of taking a wound, you would just take a level of fatigue, which subtracts 10 to your toughness for the rest of the scene. Which allowed people to eventually fatigue out and start taking wounds. It led to this lovely gameplay loop where people start wailing really hard at the beginning of combat to just get someone fatigued, and then finally be able to hit a finisher. Just felt really good. I ran that for an extended period of time. And the same thing with contests of will, for willpower. And it having those two modulated with the same system also felt really good. Like dealing with tests of will and power of motivation as the same as physical ability, energy, and endurance just felt right. So that's how I fixed main stats. That's the best way I fixed main stats. The others, at one point I just took the cap off and ran a ridiculously high level game. That was crazy. But ran into a bunch of different problems with that because, you know, the numbers just stop scaling after level 6 properly. Level 7 never feels as good as level 2. And usually we had, you know, people diving into the point where, well, I'm irrelevant in this situation because this person is too relevant to the situation. So, epic high-level games in BESM don't really work with the system as it is flat. There are some modifications to abilities and things that you can do that make it really work well, though. Especially if you get to the point where you have everything kind of memorized. Oh wow. It's just a port frenzy. Pink slime feeding frenzy. Haha. Woo! Well, hey. 3 gold plort. I love it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. But, talking about abilities and corrections, well, honestly, I think next time, I'm not just going to go into abilities, I'm going to go into abilities that get you abilities. In other words, next time, we break down the magic system on Oberon Solo Slime Rancher, and talks about BESM.
The wind howled at the watch